And so our founding fathers knew that that was a potential of combining great power under one head. So they limited by the letter of the law what land that the federal government could control. And it's found in Article 1, Section 8, Clause 17. Let me read it to you. I've shared this before, but let me read it to you again. It says, referring to the federal government, it says, to exercise exclusive legislation in all cases whatsoever in such districts not to exceed 10 square miles as may by secession of a particular state and the acceptance of Congress. What is that 10 square miles? Well, that's Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C., the seat of the federal government. That's proper and that's appropriate. They go on. It says, to become the seat of the government of the United States and to exercise like authority over all places purchased by the consent of the legislature of the state in which the same shall be for the erections of forts, magazines, arsenals, dockyards, and other such needful buildings. Okay, they limit the federal government to purchase only those lands needful for the defense of our country, docks, arsenals, forts, and other such needful buildings. And not only that, they can't take it by eminent domain. They must ask the state legislatures if they can purchase it from them. So in this very clause here, by that very sentence there, it acknowledges that the states are the owners of the land. And the other thing they did to keep from having a centralization of power into a central government, which increases or decreases the freedom of the individual, is that they limited the amount of land mass that this central power could control, called the federal government. Because if you can control the land, you can control the food production, you can control the people. Now currently the BLM, or the federal government, lays claim to 1/3 of the land mass of the United States. Put that in perspective. You've got to put together the country of Germany, and you must combine it with the country of France. Then you better put in Italy, Spain, throw in Portugal, and then throw in Britain. You got to start throwing all those countries together to begin to get them close to the comparison of the land mass that the federal government owns, say that they own and control.
All right. So what color did you pick? Blue? And that's a good thing. Why? Because if the federal government gets too much power, we lose our freedoms, huh?
I know.
Yeah, and what will happen if we lose our freedoms?
Take it away.
They do take it away. And that would be sad, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that will make us run out of energy too.
Now, and in this landmass, they claim to have what's called exclusive legislative ability. And what they have done, they have combined all three branches of power. And I'll explain that. You have bureaucrats that sit behind desks, and they will write a statute or a regulation. And it has the effect of law. And then they implement that. And now that regulation is enforced by federal rangers who are armed, and they can enforce it. They're empowered to enforce it by lethal means if necessary. If a person gets crosswise with one of these statutes, they're then hauled into a federal court and tried by a federal judge. All three branches of power combined under one head. Now, none of these people, do we the people here over whom this is imposed upon, have the power of recall. In other words, we don't elect them. They are not accountable to us. And so our founding fathers knew that that was a potential of combining great power under one head. So they limited, by the letter of the law, what land that the federal government could control. And it's found in Article 1, Section 8, Clause 17.